She lied about her business trip, so I followed her. Ethan Caldwell had always believed that loyalty wasn't just a virtue, it was the foundation of a meaningful life. After nearly 10 years of marriage to his wife Lena, he prided himself on the quiet rituals and deep emotional connection they had cultivated. Even with a demanding job in finance, Ethan always carved out time for their Wednesday night dinners, lazy Sunday mornings, and evening walks that grounded them after long days. Lena had once cherished those moments as much as he did. Or so he believed. Their bond was a tapestry of shared goals, dreams of traveling the world, building a family, growing old side by side. So when Lena's marketing career began demanding more travel, Ethan reassured himself it was temporary, a sign of her rising success. He even felt proud, watching her become a rising star in her firm. At first, her trips were infrequent, maybe once every couple of months. But gradually they became more frequent, sometimes twice a month, sometimes weekly. She'd be gone from Monday to Friday, claiming she was needed for investor pitches or strategic meetings. One name kept coming up during these discussions: Julian. According to Lena, he was her supervisor, sharp, detail-focused, and apparently very reliant on her. She often spoke of his charisma during presentations, his refined communication, and how much he valued her insight. Ethan tried to see it as nothing more than professional admiration. But Julian's name began appearing too often, during casual conversations, during dinner, even while they were winding down for the night. Unlike her colleagues, names like Priya, Damon, or Trevor, who appeared once and faded, Julian's presence lingered. At the same time, Lena started becoming distant. She still said, "I love you," but the words felt mechanical, stripped of warmth. Her eyes would often drift to her phone during dinner. She'd smile at messages she claimed were from the team, sometimes working late into the night. When Ethan suggested she get some rest, she'd grow irritable, snapping that, not everyone can just shut off at 6. One evening, Ethan walked into the room just as Lena's phone lit up. The screen showed a message from Julian. She quickly turned the phone over, saying it was a group chat. He didn't question her, but something had shifted. Doubt had taken root. Their anniversary was the breaking point. Ethan had prepared a quiet dinner, just as they'd done every year. Home-cooked meal, her favorite wine, playlist of songs they both loved. 2 hours before dinner, Lena called him. Julian needed her to catch a last-minute flight to Chicago for a can't-miss event. She didn't even come home, left directly from the office to the airport. That night, Ethan sat at the table alone. The food went cold. The wine, once comforting, now tasted like vinegar. The silence sat with him like a stranger. When Lena returned 3 days later, she acted like nothing had happened. She made dinner herself, tried to be sweet, poured his favorite Chilean red. She told funny stories about the conference, and casually mentioned shopping downtown. Ethan smiled politely. But inside, a quiet storm was building. The next few days confirmed what his instincts had been whispering. Lena's spark, the way she once looked at him, was gone. She still smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. She still kissed him goodnight, but her body felt cold. And Julian's name, always there. Always the reason behind the overtime, the travel, the delays. Then came the trip that unraveled everything. Lena told him Julian had invited her to a strategic summit in Denver. A major opportunity. She was flying out the next morning. Ethan didn't argue. He simply watched her pack. And that's when he saw it. As Lena folded her clothes, she slipped a brand new bikini into the suitcase. It still had the tag on it, and it wasn't her usual style. This one was daring, revealing. He looked at it, then looked at her. She caught him staring, offered a soft smile and said, "The hotel has a heated indoor pool." The next morning, while Lena boarded her flight, Ethan powered up her old laptop, the one she'd stopped using months ago. He searched her email archives. Took nearly 2 hours. But eventually, buried deep in her inbox, he found it. A booking confirmation, not for Denver, but for a luxury beach resort called Ocean Crest Villas. 2 guests, 1 suite, oceanfront, spa included. The second name, Julian. Without a word, Ethan packed a bag, filled the tank and started driving. He arrived by late afternoon. The sun was beginning to set. Approaching the resort from the beach side, Ethan spotted them easily. Lena and Julian, barefoot, laughing, hands intertwined, moving with the ease and familiarity of people who weren't sneaking around, but who had long surrendered to their connection. She wore only the bikini bottom, her top draped over her shoulder. Julian's hands never strayed far. They looked completely at home with each other. Ethan pulled out his phone, recorded everything, took photos, documented their embrace, their intimacy, their betrayal. Then he approached. Julian saw him first and went rigid. Lena turned next. Her smile vanished. The air thickened with dread. She opened her mouth, but Ethan cut her off. "I know everything," he said. "It's all on record. There's nothing left to explain." Julian stepped back. Lena reached out, her voice shaking. But Ethan was already turning. He didn't look back. The drive home was silent. There were no tears, just clarity. He packed Lena's things that night. Every shirt, every perfume bottle, every reminder of her. The suitcases went to the curb. Then he changed the locks. He compiled everything: videos, photos, screenshots, messages, fake itineraries, and sent them to Lena's HR department. Then he emailed Julian's wife, Harper, whom he'd found through company records. She responded with just 2 words: "Thank you." Back at the resort, things fell apart fast. Julian panicked, called a cab, left Lena standing alone. She cried in the bathroom all night, sending desperate messages to Ethan, begging, apologizing, promising it had meant nothing. Ethan never replied. Days later, HR put both Lena and Julian on leave pending investigation. Once Ethan's evidence was reviewed, both were terminated. No ceremony, no severance, just emails ending their careers. Harper filed for divorce. Julian moved into a cheap rental. Word of his misconduct spread. Legal trouble followed. Lena. She moved in with her mother. Unemployed. Rejected from job after job. Her name flagged. Her reputation tainted. She kept trying to reach Ethan. Texts, emails, voice notes, all unanswered. Weeks passed. She showed up at his door. No makeup. Ter Street. Barely able to stand. She begged for forgiveness. Claimed Julian had manipulated her. That she'd felt invisible at home. That it was a mistake. Ethan listened. Then calmly said, "You disgust me." He closed the door. And just like that, her story ended. But Ethan's didn't. He moved to a new city. Returned to old hobbies. Jogged at sunrise. Reconnected with friends. He stopped asking why. He stopped wondering what he could have done differently. Because it wasn't his fault. Months later, Harper reached out. Her email was kind, thankful, healing. They began exchanging messages. Nothing romantic, just mutual understanding. Eventually they met. Laugh. What grew between them wasn't built on pain. It was built on truth, respect, shared survival. As they built something new. Slowly, honestly, Lena faded into the past. Her downfall was complete and irreversible. But Ethan, he had rebuilt. And this time, his foundation was stronger than ever. What do you think, my friend? Would you have handled it the same way? Let me know in the comments. And remember, truth always finds a way.